Well, hey guys, I don't actually know if this is going to work or if the internet connection is even good. We're going to give it a try and see. I am in a hotel room in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm here for PorcFest. I'm going to be here all week. PorcFest is the Great Libertarian Festival in the middle of the woods. And I thought, it's been a while since I did a, oh good, people are saying it's coming through fine. Excellent. Because I'm actually on my cell phone because the internet coverage is so bad here. Like I paid for internet, I paid like $20 for internet and it doesn't work. Yay. But I thought I would go live and just hang out with you guys because I got some blocking to do on Twitter. I have got some blocking to do on Twitter. And so I thought I would come and hang out because conservatives have apparently decided that they don't know what the word ban means. And they have been canceling me and mobbing me all day. And even to make it just extra good, Matt fucking Walsh retweeted an account that's been stalking me for over a year and a half and has literally doxed my house and put my family in danger. So it's always fun when good, God-fearing conservative influencers literally retweet and support leftist troll stalkers and put people in actual danger. Fun times. Fun times. Those conservative Christians, they never fail to disappoint with how un-Christ-like they are. So because of that, I have a whole metric F-ton of people I need to block on Twitter. I will not be happy until I block at least 1,000 conservatives by the end of the day. And, I thought I'd come on and do it live since I'm here. And, I look a little crazy because, I've been running around all effing day. I had to do a whole bunch of errands this morning. I had to buy, $300 worth of beer. And just have been, babe, and I had to drive 2.5 hours and basically have just been, straight out all day, not even wearing makeup, but it's a late night stream. So we don't always need to wear makeup for late night streams. Yes, Sven, we're blocking at least 1,000 conservatives by the end of the day. I'm already up to several hundred. But when conservative blue check morons end up canceling you on Twitter, you get thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of really douchebag, the lowest. Here's what you learn about conservatives or conservative blue check influencers when they cancel you. Conservative blue check influencers are either batshit stupid or they play batshit stupid in order to appeal to the lowest common denominator of human being. And before anyone says, Carlin, don't generalize about conservatives, fuck you. Fuck you. That's what I'll say. Until you have been canceled by blue check conservative influencers, until they have deliberately sent thousands and thousands and thousands of people to mob you and harass you, fuck right off. I will generalize as much as I fucking please. And if that offends your fragile conservative sensibilities, you can go watch something else. You can watch something else. I gotta tell you guys, I'm just getting the tweet, which is really the problem. Oh, yeah, goodbye. I love blocking people. I will be blocking people in the chat. I'll be blocking people on Twitter. There is a deeply cathartic experience when you block sad, pathetic people and just remove them from your lives entirely. So let me just go to the offending tweet. By the way, the offending tweet basically said that conservatives are inevitably going to try to ban people watching R-rated movies or showing R-rated movies to their kids in the privacy of their own home. Now, most people, if they're honest about it, watched an R-rated movie before they were 18. How many of you watched an R-rated movie before you were 18? I started watching them around the age of 7 or 8. And so, I don't think that watching an R-rated movie actually does any lasting damage. I don't think there's any evidence to show it does. But apparently, conservatives are so offended by the idea that someone might show an R-rated movie to their little darlings that they go completely fucking psycho. Completely psychotic. And so they were offended that I made a sarcastic tweet saying these fucking idiots are going to try to legislatively ban people from watching R-rated movies, that they decided to cancel me, and Matt Walsh decided to retweet an account stalking me. Because it's always the good conservative Christians, isn't it, that give stalkers. Did you guys know that Matt Walsh has now supported the leftist stalking me more than he has ever supported the most critical lawsuit against critical race theory in schools in the country? Matt Walsh has officially supported a leftist troll, literal stalker who posted literal pictures of my house on Twitter. Matt Walsh has now supported that person more than he has ever supported the most pivotal lawsuit against critical race theory in the country. That is the type of person that Matt Walsh is. That is the type of person that conservatives want. Fucking grifter shills who support leftist stalkers. But he's a good Christian, isn't he? He's a good Christian. No, he's not. No, he is not. Anyway, so I tweeted that conservatives were probably going to try to ban people from showing R-rated movies to their kids in their own houses. And conservatives were so upset by this keen observation of mine that they decided to cancel me on the internet. And you know what? I kind of think that that's proof that I'm absolutely right. That's really what conservatives are showing us today. They're showing proof that they are absolutely the authoritarian psychos that I say they are. They're showing proof that they will absolutely try to ban people from showing R-rated movies to their kids in the privacy of their own home. They've shown it. They're actually conservatives saying, yeah, like, I think that's a great idea. You know, so, and it's like, because if they weren't going to try to do that, why would they be so upset about someone saying it? If they weren't going to try to do that, why would they be so upset? Why would they be so upset? The answer is they wouldn't, because they are the authoritarian psychos that I say they are and have always said they were. I called out that the conservative moral majority bullshit started to rise over a year and a half ago. And everyone said, no, Carlin, you don't. It's just a couple of people. No, it's not a couple of people. No, it's not. No, it's not. Never was. But I saw it when no one else did. I'm still seeing it. And this, by the way, is part of why conservative influencers don't like me, because I see right through the bullshit of conservative influencers and I call them out publicly and they can't control it. They would like that needle dick, Ian Miles Chung, would like nothing more than to get me to shut up. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now I have, hang on, let me find this tweet. I'm going to find this tweet so I can start blocking conservatives, because this is going to be a whole night's long affair. Let's see. How are you guys doing? Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Mount the like button if you hate conservatives as much as I do. Oh, there it is. Okay. Here, I'll even show you guys. I will show you guys the process of blocking. I will show you guys the process of blocking. It's really quite simple, but it's really boring. So how are you guys doing? I'm watching the chat as I'm doing my blocking business. Well, conservatives certainly think that Ian Miles Chung is a conservative. They're saying, people are saying Ian Miles Chung isn't a conservative. He's a grifter. Dude, I know he's a fucking conservative grifter. Or grifter. I mean, I don't even really care if he's a conservative. I think that Ian Miles Chung is desperately trying to compensate for his utter lack of penis by appealing to the lowest common denominator on the internet. A lot of these people still think I'm a Democrat, by the way. This person, when a young child sees an R-rated movie, it changes them forever. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Goodbye. See, you just don't need people like this in your life. You really don't need people like this at all. It is best to just get them out of the way entirely. entirely. Why do I block instead of mute? Because I have no desire for these people to engage with me. I have no desire. It's hard because I'm on my laptop, so I don't know how big I can make this. Yeah, I mean, there's no value in me in these people having access to me. They're idiots. They're always going to. If you really think that a child is forever tarnished by watching an R-rated movie, you are a fucking moron. Like, so I don't like being surrounded by morons, and so I block them. It's called being a parent. Do you guys know? Do you guys bet? I bet you that most of these conservatives that I'm blocking have fucked up their children far worse than an R-rated movie ever would. These are all conservatives. Such a gratifying feeling, though. Such a gratifying feeling. It's called being a parent. See, and here's the other thing, too, is that none of them actually have original thoughts of their own. They're literally just parroting the talking points of their influencers. So you're all going to see them say the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, because none of these people I'm blocking are capable of an original or a creative thought. Just like their hero, Matt Walsh, because Matt Walsh, as you know, steals everyone else's ideas, comes up with nothing original of his own, and then takes credit for other people's ideas. He's done it to me. He's done it to Ashley St. Clair. He's done it to lots of people. Basically, every time you hear Matt Walsh say something that makes sense, he has probably stolen that idea from someone else and then taking credit for it. God, such idiots. See, it's called parenting. That's what you're going to see over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's what you're going to see. Taking up my entire Twitter feed just because conservatives don't know the definition of the word ban, which is literally what my tweet says. Like you can see right here. Conservatives are going to try to ban kids watching R-rated movies in their own house. I'm calling it now. Conservatives literally do not understand that the definition of the word ban is a legal prohibition. It's a dictionary definition. Look it up. Conservatives are really keen on objective reality and definitions until it comes to them knowing the definition of the word ban. And then, oh, we can just make up our own definitions. There is no such thing as objective reality anymore. They're such raging fucking hypocrites. Raging hypocrites. It is now my number one mission in life to make sure that conservatives lose in 2024. I don't think they're going to lose in 2022. I think they're probably going to win something simply because of how bad the Democrats are. But that actually could backfire on them because I do think it's going to set them up to lose colossally in 2024. You want to know why? Because just because conservatives win something in 2022 doesn't actually mean things are going to get better. And I do think it would be a really overt sign to voters that that conservatives aren't going to do anything for them. Look, this may come as shock to this overweight, childless grifter, but good parents monitor television. You're going to see lots of comments about my weight because that's all really conservatives care about is appearance and looking pretty and being thin and blonde and having long hair. And oh, that's the only thing they care about. Which is why they lose all the time. And I'll be blocking people like this too. Tim, I don't know who you are. I actually know people who subscribe to my channel and who chat in regularly and comment regularly. Don't know who you are. So I don't actually think you're that big of a loss. Goodbye. Goodbye. Do I think Democrats are better than conservatives? No, I think they're the same. They're exactly and precisely the same. And so replacing one with the other doesn't really make much of a difference. Doesn't make much of a difference. And so, yes, I would prefer that Democrats win in 2024 because I don't want conservatives to win shit. At least Democrats do stuff. At least the Democrats have activists. Conservatives don't have activists. They don't have even anyone. They don't do shit. So conservatives deserve to lose. They are driving away every single voter that they gained in 2020. Queen Bee, I'm putting you in a timeout because I've seen you here before, but you insult me again and you're going to get blocked. But you're getting a timeout for right this second. Yeah. This is what it's like, what you have to have in your feed can I just tell you guys, one of the biggest regrets that I have in my entire life is putting aside my beliefs to shill for Republicans, to try to get Democrats to leave the Democratic Party to vote for Trump in 2020. This is one of the biggest regrets in my life. And I've been thinking this for a while. This is not a new thing. I have been actually thinking about this for a while. I just haven't really talked about it. And that's exactly what I did in 2022. You see, I didn't actually share my opinions in 2020, not my real ones. It was true that I left the left. It was true that I thought that Donald Trump was a better candidate in 2020. I mean, let's be honest. Trump was a better fucking candidate in 2020. That I don't regret at all. But what I do regret is allowing myself to be used by conservatives to put forth this narrative that they were now a big tent that accepted a diversity of thought. Has anyone actually heard anyone on the right talk about diversity of thought recently? They haven't talked about it in about 2 years. They were talking about it all the way through 2020, but haven't talked about diversity of thought at all in the last 2 years because they don't believe in it. They don't believe in it. It was just a story to attract voters to their side. That was all it was. And it happened to be at a time when the Democratic Party was really overtly going crazy. And, they've obviously been going crazy for a while, but it was around the time when voters were starting to see that the Democrats were going crazy. And so conservatives took advantage of it. And, I suppose on a strategic level, I don't blame them for taking advantage of it. But I really, it is not the biggest regret I have in life, but it is a very, 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 very big regret, that I allowed conservatives to use me for an entire year in 2020. I gave up my life in 2020 to do this. I gave up my business. I gave up my weekends. I was traveling every single week to go all around the country to shill, to get Democrats to leave the party and to vote for Donald Trump. And I kept a lot of my opinions to myself because it was not a productive thing to share them at that time. It would have detracted from the goal. You see, unlike conservatives, I'm actually pretty strategic in how I think about these things. And if I have a goal, and my goal was trying to get the Democrats to lose in 2020, why would I go out there and say something that would detract from that goal? I wouldn't do it. So I kept a lot of opinions to myself in 2020 because it wasn't productive to talk about it. But after Joe Biden got inaugurated, I started sharing my opinions. And wouldn't you know it, conservatives were like, Carlin, you've changed so much. No, I didn't change at all. I was never a conservative. I joined the Republicans for about 15 minutes, partially because, well, okay, if we're honest about it, I had kind of made the decision to become a Republican before the November election in 2020 because I really believed I had gotten myself to a headspace where I really bought into this big tent narrative. I really did. I was like, you know what? And also the other factor here too, and this is the other thing that I regret, is I let a single tweet from Joe Jorgensen sully my opinion of the entire Libertarian Party. And that was a mistake as well, because I wish I had found the Mises Caucus earlier. If I had found the Mises Caucus in 2020, that is where I would have been. There is not any question about it. But I let a single tweet from Joe Jorgensen that said Black Lives Matter. And by the way, that wasn't even sent by Joe Jorgensen. It was sent by an aide, like, which I know now, but I didn't know then. I let that one single tweet dissuade me from looking at the Libertarian Party. And so in 2020, when I was giving up everything to try to get Democrats to leave the left and to vote for Trump, when I gave up everything for that, I really thought that the Republicans were my only option, because I wasn't going to go to the Libertarians because they were just as woke as the Democrats were. And I was like, the Republicans aren't great. I disagree with them on a lot of things, but of the options I have available to me, they're probably the most sane, probably. And so I had made the decision to join the Republicans prior to the election when I still thought it was a Big Tent. Never got around to going to town hall to fill out the paperwork because I was traveling every weekend shilling for fucking conservatives. And so when I finally decided to go, I was kind of like, I was iffy about it after the inauguration. I want to be honest. I was like, I wasn't really in a hurry until oh God. Hang on. Holy shit. A fucking pedo who was stalking me on Twitter just joined my locals, and I just got the email. Hang on. I'm not showing this on my screen. Am I? Okay, I gotta go in and block this guy real quick. And I know he's a pedo because I've literally seen his arrest record. But he just joined with his real name because he's a fucking moron, so I can block him very quickly. Holy shit, I know exactly who that guy is. My God. And he joined as a supporter, too. Wow. He joined as a supporter using a fake name. Got him. Oh my God. And I knew it. I fucking knew this guy. You know what he did? Okay, this is a side story. So I had this pedo that was stalking me on Twitter that was doing like the Twitter hordes like bidding, and he used his real name to sign up for Twitter. And I finally got fucking sick of this. He was like stalking me all over. He was like, I blocked him, of course, but like when I block them, what they do is they look for people who are replying to my tweets, and then they reply to those tweets. So it really doesn't make much of a difference. So I ended up looking this guy up because he was an idiot and used his real name, and I found his fucking arrest record. It was clear as day. Like he was arrested and convicted of like doing something with like a very, 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 very underage person. And so I posted his arrest record on Twitter, and I was like, look, my Twitter horde is using a pedo to try to enact revenge on me. I posted his arrest record on Twitter. He immediately deleted his account. It was like within 5 minutes of me posting his arrest record on Twitter. And that asshole has just joined my locals as a supporter, and he used the screen name that another account he has on Twitter, and I always knew that was his account. I always knew it was his account, but I couldn't prove it because he wasn't using his real name anymore. Well, now I have his real name linked to this email address that has that account. Haha. Fuck you, Waylon. So now Waylon is going to get blocked in my locals, because I have his email address right here, and I'm going to be able to prove, just in case the Twitter horde has anything to say about it at all, I'm going to be able to prove exactly who this guy is because I've got his information. Haha. Wow. Block. Goodbye. All right, that's taken care of. That's taken care of. Now let's going back to blocking conservatives on Twitter. So, okay, where was I? And I may or may not be high right now, just so you guys know. May or may not be high right now because I've had a little bit of a day and I think I deserve it. So we're going to just see how this goes. It's not like it's the first stream I've ever done high, if I'm honest about it. All right. Oh, hey. Yeah. Dan, don't think I saw you. I didn't see you fucking piling on. God. So, okay. So I was talking about how I really regret being used by conservatives in 2020. And then, okay. So I decided to join. Oh, Lauren Witzke. Here's where we were. So I kind of made the decision to join the Republicans before the election, and then I was kind of like meh about it after the election, but I really again thought that they were my only option. And so I was like, ugh. And I was like trying to work myself up in my head to do it. And then fucking Lauren Witzke, that psychopath from Delaware who got the Republican nomination for Senate, not only called for my husband to be deported on Twitter, but she also said, "You will never be a conservative. You will never be a Republican, Carlin." And she made this big show of it. And so basically, that was the thing that spurred me to go to town hall to fill out the form to change my voter registration. Was Lauren Witzke was like, "You will never be a Republican." And so I went and filled out the piece of paper, and I was like, "Ha, Lauren, the state of New Hampshire says differently." And then I lasted about a month in the Republican Party because really, like, I felt dirty. I felt dirty as soon as I made that party registration. I did. I felt really, it was like a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. I knew it wasn't going to work out. I knew it was wrong. And it didn't work out. I was a Republican for about a month before I left and joined the Libertarians. And it was around the time too that the Mises Caucus came knocking at my door and told me that not all libertarians were woke. And I was like, I need hear no more. Yeah, Alex, I was right again, wasn't I? Conservatives are really pissed off Alex today because Alex just the other day was like, please, conservatives, make Carlin wrong. And I ended up being right again. And I ended up being right again. No, I don't think it was I don't think it was a badly worded tweet, Alex. It had the word ban in it. Ban, the definition of ban is legal prohibition. So conservatives like definitions until those definitions are not convenient because they're raging leftists. And, you know, that's what they are. That's what they are. But I do not feel bad about blocking people at all. And conservatives are like, listen, guys, like here's something that people really need to wrap their heads around. I understand this might offend some people's fragile sensibilities. When I look at conservatives, I literally see something that is no different than a woke leftist. And this is not just because of this little incident. This has been for months for me. Actually, probably even since it started a year ago. It started a year ago now because it started before last year's Pork Fest. A year ago, this bullshit started. And so this is no different. It's just like, But anyone who thinks that conservatives, you're just blocking people for disagreeing with you, this is just too far. I'm out, dude. I don't even know who you are. So goodbye. You get blocked too. Off with you. God, these fucking people. Oh. Look, they're all saying the same thing. And those aren't bots, by the way. These are really conservatives. Oh, God. I used to like this guy. Block. Goodbye. Not sure if Carlin is suggesting unenforceable legislation for outrage clout. See, this is the other thing, too, is conservatives always think that, like, I'm doing stuff and saying stuff for clout. Dude, I give a flying fuck about your clout. I don't care. One of the things I really regret about the whole thing in 2020 is that I have so many conservatives following me that it makes it fucking impossible to do anything in which conservatives disagree with. It makes it fucking impossible. I really wish. People always think that like numbers are everything. No. Numbers are not everything when they are the wrong fucking numbers. I wish my following would just cut in half right now. And if my following cut in half or even cut 3/4 and all of the whiny, woke leftist conservatives left my feed forever, that would be a price worth paying. Absolutely. Every single day. Every day of the week. All right. Those are just the quote tweets on that we've blocked. And now we have to go back. And now what we're going to start doing is blocking the people replying. Now I have to be a little more careful when I'm blocking the people replying, because I know I have supporters replying. And by the way, if I accidentally block you and you are a good person and not a woke conservative, if I accidentally block you, just email me and say, Carlin, can you just unblock me? Like, I'm sure it was an accident, and give me your handle and I will unblock you. Well, conservatives need to look up the dictionary definition, Alex, because I thought the conservatives were all about dictionary definitions. Do you guys want to look up the dictionary definition of the word ban? Do you want to do it right now? Hang on, I'll do it in a different window. Fuck. I'll do it in a different window just so I don't actually slow. Define ban. Ban. All right, let's switch our window. Actually, I'll just bring it into my other browser here. There we go. Ban. To prohibit, especially by legal means. So it turns out that conservatives are not using the proper dictionary definition of the term ban. I almost did block you. I really did. I almost did, because I knew I was going to be seeing you anyway. I was like, fuck that guy. Whatever. You're still my favorite. You're not quite my favorite because you don't live in New Hampshire, but pretty much my favorite because you make sick videos. But that's the definition of the word ban, especially by legal means, which means I'm right and conservatives are wrong. Again, shocking. I know. Every fucking day of my life. Every day. I was still tweeting. That was pretty much the only social media I came back to, just because I get my news there. All right. And by the way, guys, I don't think that drag is that bad. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Most of the drag videos that I've seen conservatives post have no nudity in them. There is nothing more visible than what you're going to see at a beach or what you're going to see in a PG-13 rated movie. I think conservatives are totally taking this is bait from leftists. This whole drag bullshit is leftist bait to get conservatives to act like authoritarian idiots. And conservatives are taking the bait every single time. Every time. They are taking the bait. They are doing exactly what the left wants them to do. All the videos that have come out, and I am not in favor of public schools or taxpayer money going for drag shows, but every single video that I've seen come out about these drag shows, one, isn't actually that bad. Two, is a private event at a private establishment. If you don't want to take your kids there, don't take your kids there. It's really that simple. But no, conservatives have got to take the bait because they don't know how to do anything else. This is why the left is pushing this drag bullshit. Does anyone wonder why all of a sudden there were just a massive quantity of drag shows everywhere where they were like inviting kids? Do you all think that was an accident? I sure as shit don't. Oh, and it just happens to be at a time when the Democrats know they're going to lose in November and they're going to get desperate with their methods to try to get more votes on their side. Oh, what could possibly get more votes on the Democratic side? Conservatives acting like authoritarian jackasses. No Democrat is going to be convinced by any of the footage that has come out of any of those drag shows. They're not going to be convinced. They're going to be like, okay, that's really like not that bad. No one's naked. Yeah, maybe it's not ideal, but if I don't want my kids to see that, like I just won't take them. That's how Democrats are going to react to that. No one's mind is being changed by this drag fucking crusade bullshit. Literally 0 minds are changed. Just as many minds are changed by this drag bullshit as were changed by Matt Walsh's What is a Woman movie. Because no one outside of Matt Walsh's little conservative circle actually watched that movie. That was a movie for the echo chamber. It was not a movie to change anyone's mind. Same with this. No one's mind is going to be changed. No one's mind is going to be changed at all. You have to be careful here because some people understand exactly and precisely what I'm saying, and I don't want to block the good people. Did you do that through legislation? See, conservatives, here's the other thing about conservatives. Conservatives do not understand the difference between legislating something and making a personal choice. They really don't understand it. Conservatives really believe that you can't just make a personal choice without the government telling you not to do something. You don't want to bring your kids to a drag show? Don't bring your kids to a fucking drag show. You don't want your kids to watch an R-rated movie in your house? Don't watch a fucking R-rated movie in your house. It is really not that hard. It is not that hard. But no, conservatives don't know how to do that. All they know how to do is to force their morals onto everyone else through legislation. That is all they know how to do. That is all they know how to do. Look at this fucking weakling. I was traumatized by Child's Play. I saw Child's Play before I was 10 years old. I was traumatized. What a fucking coward. This guy is going to be blocked on general principle. If you were traumatized by Child's Play, then like you fucking deserve to be traumatized by Child's Play. Something else was going to do it anyway. It might as well have been that movie. It was going to be something else anyway. By the way, the criteria for blocking is A, if you insult me, B, if you say something stupid, C, if you don't understand the difference between legislating something and making a personal choice, and D, well, really anything I feel like blocking you for. Those are our criteria. Yo, Human Centipede is a fucked up movie. Don't let a kid watch that movie. But if a kid did watch that movie, they'll probably be okay. Just like if a kid goes to Drag Queen Story Hour, they probably don't even understand what a drag queen is. They probably think it's a cartoon character. Look at this guy. There are studies showing that conservatives understand liberals' positions, but liberals don't understand conservatives' position. Dude, I'm a fucking libertarian. Idiot. Idiot. It's called being a parent. Conservative. Look. And then you're going to see conservatives that downright agreeing with this. Mm-hmm. I pray that you're a parody account. No. That was the thing that Matt Walsh retweeted, the account that fucking doxed my house. That was Matt Walsh. I call it good parenting. Anyone who says I call it good parenting is absolutely getting blocked. 100%. See, now we're getting into the idiots that have only come because their conservative influences have said, go attack this person like the woke leftist mob that you are. See, conservative influencers know. They know that that there is a portion of their audience who are exactly like woke leftists. That's why they do this shit. That's why they do this shit in the first place. Conservative influencers know exactly and precisely who their audience is. Yes, it's called parenting. That's what parents do. You know, had conservatives not overplayed their hand by reacting like unhinged lunatics to the drag stuff, they actually probably could have made some good points and they could have gotten more people on their team. But no. I cannot fucking wait for them to lose in 2024. I cannot wait for them to not realize that there will be a libertarian spoiler in 2024 because none of them are paying attention to what's going on with the libertarians. Like, so few of these people actually understand that the Libertarian Party just completely changed overnight. Martin says, good parenting means that you're good parents, not the government. That's exactly right. Conservatives don't know the difference. So conservatives have no idea. Thank you for the super chat, Martin, by the way. Conservatives have no idea that there's going to be a very different libertarian candidate in 2024 than they had to deal with last time. They have no idea this is coming. And listen, we're all realistic here. We know Dave Smith ain't becoming president in 2024. It's not going to happen. Like, Dave Smith is the guy that's probably going to end up being the nominee. I'm going to bet he's going to end up being the nominee. He ain't going to be president in 2024. That is not going to happen. But do I think he's going to get a bigger percent of the libertarian vote than any other candidate in history? Yes. And part of the reason is the candidates for the two main parties are going to look awful compared to him. Going to look awful. He is a young guy. He's got energy. He is super smart. He is going to bring a new kind of like perspective that a lot of people haven't heard before. He's absolutely going to be a spoiler for the Republicans in 2024. They just don't know it yet. Ty says, not surprised, conservatives were just raging a few months ago about a Disney Pixar film turning red because the little girl in the movie was too defiant of her parents. Walsh made a video too. God, Matt Walsh is such a fucking moron. Conservatives deserve to lose when they hold up Matt Walsh as their fucking standard bearer. They deserve to lose. I'm sorry. Like, if I have to pick between the two, you have Democrats and Republicans being synonymous with conservatives. I'm sorry, I know not all Republicans are conservatives, but that's just what we're doing tonight. I'm not doing this fucking nuanced bullshit and giving everyone a bullet point. If I have to pick between the two, Democrats do stuff, conservatives whine. Now, Democrats whine too, but Democrats whine and they do stuff, and conservatives just whine. And here's the other thing too. If we're going to get a little accelerationist, like, I don't think either side is good, but I think the Democrats are going to tank the country a whole lot faster than I think Republicans are. Now, I do believe that Republicans are just a couple years behind Democrats in terms of their psychosis. I fully believe that there will be not a majority, but not an insignificant amount of Republicans in 2024 who will support critical race theory, because a lot of them are getting there anyway. So it's like, do you pick the party who is going to slowly destroy the country, or do you pick the party that's going to quickly destroy the country so you have a chance to rebuild faster? I'm going to pick the party that is going to quickly destroy the country. It is the difference between ripping the Band-Aid off quickly or just going really slowly and prolonging the suffering. I want to rip the Band-Aid off quickly. Justin says, I apologize for cousin Jessica getting on your nerves. I've been slowly bringing her around for a long time. She's usually one of the better conservatives. Well, Justin, she was not one of the better conservatives today. She absolutely was not. In fact, Cousin Jessica doesn't even know the definition of the term ban. So I blocked her too. She can go fuck herself. Sean C says, what bothers me is that so many cons consider any LGBT imagery or interaction to be an agenda, whereas the same interaction between opposite sex is fine. Oh yeah, they're going to be ramping up that too. They're absolutely going to be ramping up that. It's called parenting. My God. Every single one of these people that is using the literally exactly same line think that they're fucking geniuses when in fact they're just sheep. Well, you let her know that when she learns how to define the word ban, then perhaps I'll unblock her. But for right now, I think she's pretty stupid and not even worth, my energy. See, if I know who these people are, I know who Cheryl Lynn is. I know who she is. So even though I think she's saying something stupid in my feed, I know who she is, and I know she's not a bad actor, so she's not going to get blocked. If I know who you are significantly less likely to get blocked by me when you say something dumb. If I do not know who you are 100% likely to get blocked by me when you say something dumb. Common Cure, Carlin, I'm no longer libertarian and I have beef with you about public schools. Don't really know what to say about that. I'm not going to change my opinions on public schools. Public schools need to be defunded. I'm doing a presentation at PorkFest this week about why this is the most urgent liberty priority that we have, defunding the public schools. I think this is going to be my Soapbox Idol rant. I have to prepare a 3-minute rant for a competition called Soapbox Idol. I was not here for the competition last year, but I am fully committed to kicking Bill Barger's ass this year. And I have to prepare my rant. So. Isn't this what parenting looks like? These people are morons. No one knows how to read. No one knows how to read. Nobody knows how to read. The lack of reading on Twitter lately has been maybe it's always been this way, but I've had very legitimately people that I think are very highly intelligent respond to my tweets, responding to a point that I didn't even make. It's like they're responding to the point that's in their head, but that point has no basis in reality. People aren't reading. They aren't reading at all. Oh, here's the other thing conservatives say. They're like, anytime you talk about conservative cancel culture, they're like, it wasn't us. It was Tipper Core. It was all Tipper's fault. Bitch, who canceled the Dixie Chicks? I'm sorry. Remind me. Alex, remind me. Who canceled the Dixie Chicks? Was that Tipper Gore? Did Tipper Gore cancel the Dixie Chicks? No, I don't think that she did. I don't think that she did. That was conservatives. That was conservatives. Sam says, bad reading skills because public school? Yes. Sam, I think you are 100% right. 100% correct. 100% correct. And I know every single conservative excuse now too, because they just cycle through them over and over and over again. Here's the first one. Don't generalize about us. Conservatives seem to think that I'm going to send a separate tweet for every possible position that conservatives could hold on every single fucking issue. They really do seem to think this. This is like their expectation that people aren't going to generalize on Twitter. By the way, conservatives are the only ones who do this. Democrats don't do that. Libertarians don't do that. I've never once seen a libertarian say, "Don't generalize about libertarians," even though they probably usually have more cause to do it. Justin says it's because they're used to reacting to certain points, so they react to the point they've heard before, not engaging with what you actually said. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. They're running a script. That's all they know how to do. It's like they're NPCs. They are running a fucking script. So that's a one they use. Another one they use is, Carlin, are you sure that you're talking to a conservative? Are you sure that they're not a leftist pretending to be a conservative to trick people? Yes, I'm sure that I'm talking to conservatives. I am positive that I'm talking to conservatives. Positive. It's called parenting. These people, every single person who tweeted, it's called parenting, they are probably the people who have fucked their kids up the most by not parenting because they're spending too much time being little reply boys on Twitter. Those are probably the people with the most fucked up kids. The people with the kids that are most likely to end up in prison are probably the people going, it's called parenting. Guarantee you, those people have fucked up kids. Edie says, call them this name. It will make you feel better. God, I fucking hate them. I hate them so much. So if anyone has, I don't know, maybe we can do like an Ask Me Anything. If you guys want to ask me, oh, there it is. There it is. No, you know what I call them, AD? I call them woke leftists. A, it's true. They're no different than woke leftists. B, it really pisses them off. It really pisses them off. I tweeted, here, I'll show you what I tweeted. That's Tempa. There it is. I tweeted this image basically to describe conservatives today. You guys have all seen this. It's like this gif of this little girl having a temper tantrum. And I tweeted this image. I said, here are what the conservatives in my feed look like to me right now, something like that. And the conservatives replied, they were like, Carlin, are you sure you're not talking about woke leftists? And I said, you're the same. They're the same. You're the same. The same. They really don't like that. But they really don't look any different to me. Don't look a bit different. I will never fucking make nice with conservatives. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope. Not going to happen. Not ever going to happen. What is my stance on public schools? I think they should be defunded, but I think that it's not as simple as like passing a policy or passing a law. The only way that public schools are going to be defunded is if the public demands that they are defunded. And so it is incumbent upon us to do everything that we can to turn the public against public schools. And that includes things like cameras in classrooms. That includes things like radical transparency. It includes things like massive amount of FOIA requests. It includes things like exposing the grooming that's going on in schools. And by the way, all this drag bullshit, has anyone noticed? Again, this is conservatives taking the fucking bait from leftists. Has anyone noticed that since conservatives started like bending on this fucking drag bullshit, that they have completely started to ignore the schools? Anyone else notice that? Do you guys all think that's a coincidence? The left is like, look over here, conservatives, pretty things and pretty costumes doing dances that you don't like. And conservatives are like, let's just ignore what's going on in the schools and the indoctrination and focus on things that don't fucking matter, that we don't have to take our kids to anyway. Like, this is how the game is played, guys. This is how the game is played. We were finally making progress on the schools front. We were all on like educational transparency. We'd had lots of information coming out from Zoom classes. There were bills being passed against critical race theory. There were bills that were starting to be passed against educational transparency. Everyone was on the same fucking page. Glenn Youngkin won the governor of Virginia. Everyone was cool with that. Banned critical race theory in the school systems on day one. And then leftists were like, oh, wait, we're going to lose massively in November. And what did they do? The first thing they did was leak that Supreme Court draft, and that was not just a random clerk. And anyone who thinks that was a random clerk is a moron. That was a leftist strategy to fire up the base so that they would be more likely to riot all fucking summer to sow public discontent. That was the first thing they did. The next thing they did is they started ramping up the drag show bullshit because they knew that would be completely distracting for the right. And like clockwork, the right took the bait because they can't help themselves, and most of their influencers are controlled opposition anyway, can't fucking help themselves, took the bait. Now are we talking about what's going on in schools at all? No, we're not. Because of conservatives. Because they took their eye off the prize, because they're so easily fucking distracted, it's not even funny, because they're letting their moral majority authoritarian bullshit rise up again the same way it did in the late 80s and early 90s, which caused them to lose. And of course, they went around talking about 40 chess, 40 chess, 40 chess, 40 chess all throughout 2020. Not a single fucking one of them knows how to play chess. Not a single fucking one of them can read moves several moves out to say, maybe we shouldn't take the obvious bait that the left is delivering us on a silver fucking platter. But no, the people who do that, like me, get, you are a leftist. No, Scott, you're not. You're not still watching the schools. You are absolutely not. And this is the other thing conservatives say. They're like, we can do two things at once. No, you fucking can't. No, you can't. You cannot. You prove it over and over again that you are not capable of doing more than one thing at once. You're not capable. Oh, Anna, you're so naive. Anna, I literally have video on this channel of critical race theory being taught to an 8th grader. I literally have, look up 8th grade class, Anna. I have video on this channel of an 8th grade class in which critical race theory is taught. So no, you are wrong. That is wrong. Oh, you're in Florida, are you? You're in Florida. You don't have any freedom in Florida. Your freedom entirely depends on your governor, who's going to run for president in 2 years. And then when your president, or when your governor gets elected president, which, you know, maybe he would, you are going to be up shit creek with freedom in Florida because it entirely depends on your governor. And no, Florida was not leading the charge against grooming in schools, Scott. New Hampshire led the charge against that. We were the first state to introduce a bill against critical race theory in schools, not Florida. Florida did that by executive order. Sorry, not sorry. No, it's going to get taken away again because all of your freedom rests entirely on one. This is the stupidity of Florida. Florida really thinks they're the most free state in the country because of one elected politician in one position. That's it. DeSantis leaves that office, someone else gets in there, you lose all your freedom. There isn't another DeSantis, dude. Sorry. There is not another DeSantis. And DeSantis, by the way, is an authoritarian. DeSantis was very, very quick to censor speech of a company that was critical of the government. Now, I don't like Disney either. I don't like what Disney's doing. However, the governor of a state using legislative power to punish a company for speech critical of the government is authoritarian and statist. And that's your governor right there. Dude, Kristi Noem's a rhino. Noem is a rhino. She's not liberty or she's a rhino. Yeah, well, my governor's a rhino shill too. Don't think I'm happy about him. I'm literally running against him. Oh yeah, that guy is an idiot, man. What a jackass. Yeah, they all have parody accounts of me. Because they have nothing better to do in their lives. Nothing better to do in their sad, pathetic lives. Justin says, Floridian conservatives allowed DeSantis to create the precedent of dictatorship because they liked what he was doing. His successor will likely be a progressive who will have the powers now. Yeah, this is another thing that conservatives didn't think of when they just let DeSantis do whatever the fuck he wanted, because you will probably have a Democrat governor if DeSantis runs for president and wins. You will probably have a Democrat governor. And now all these authoritarian powers that you gifted DeSantis with, they're going to go to a Democrat. That's what happens when freedom in your state relies on one person. We don't have that problem in New Hampshire. Our governor might be a douche, but a quarter of our House of Representatives are made up of libertarians. They might be called Republicans because that's what you need to do to, get elected. But they're fucking libertarians, dude. It's called parenting. I will be here all night doing this. Oh God, it's after midnight. Shit. This is a sweeping generalization. Oh yeah, is it? Oh yeah? It's called parenting. Oh. Oh, here's another thing I see. How long before she turns on libertarians? Dude, I have literally been a libertarian for 10 times longer than I was a Republican. I'm not ever leaving the libertarians. Not ever leaving the libertarian. Well, I mean, okay, I guess there is a reality in which the party could go woke again, in which case I don't know if I would stick around, but I probably would, because I think that listen, unless the Mises Caucus completely shits the bed, which I don't think that they will. But unless the Mises Caucus completely shits the bed, I'm not leaving the libertarians anytime soon. Literally fucking been a libertarian for 10 times longer than I was a Republican. And Republicans are still like, she's going to turn on the libertarians any second now. And he said, it's inevitable she's going to do it. No. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Now, that's not to say there's not infighting. Of course there's infighting. Of course there's infighting with the libertarians. A lot of the libertarians hate me. And that's fine. They're allowed to. But I would still rather be hated by some libertarians than support conservatives in any way, shape, or form. I do have a Discord. It is exclusive for my local supporters. So if you become a supporter in my locals, hang on, I'll get a ticker up. If you become a supporter in my locals, then you will get access to the supporter-only Discord. And that's how you do that. There's a link in the description if you want access to it. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I don't know who this guy is. He's going to get followed, though. He doesn't even follow me. I'm going to follow him. says there is a massive difference between imposing your beliefs on kids and imposing your beliefs through legislation. The left is usually the one wanting to use legislation to impose their beliefs, but I see a lot of conservatives in these comments wanting to do the same. I am shocked. I'm shocked at this revelation that conservatives are no different than the woke left. I am shocked. So there is a post pinned to the top of Locals that talks about your supporter benefits, and in the comments of that post there is a link to the supporter Discord that should work, but if it doesn't, I will post it again this week. Justin says, I pissed off a bunch of Mises Caucus conservatarians today, attacking me for saying organized religion was the greatest evil to ever scar the face of the earth and the church was indoctrinated. Justin, I wish I had seen that. I'm going to have to go back and look at your Twitter later. Oh. If conservatives think that their kids are not watching R-rated movies, dude, you guys probably all put TVs in their rooms. You all put TVs in their rooms. No, dude, my opinion is not about DeSantis. My opinion, this is the problem with fucking conservatives. My opinion is in regards to the position that you guys are relying on for your freedom. Who occupies that position is immaterial to me. I don't give a fuck what goes on in Florida. I live in New Hampshire. It is about the method to which you have obtained your freedom, which you've all convinced yourself is absolute and can't be taken away from you, but is really only dependent on who you elected governor. And the minute that person is no longer your governor, all of the freedom goes with that person, and what is left is the authoritarian power grab that you guys ended up with that will probably get handed to a Democrat. It's not about DeSantis. It's about who comes after him and the powers and precedents that now come with that office. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. So you might be fine now, but DeSantis is running for president in 2024, and he's probably going to end up as a VP candidate. And don't think he won't. And then you lose. Who's on deck in Florida? Who's DeSantis' number 2 in Florida? Do you guys even know? I'm going to bet you don't. I'm going to bet you don't. Isn't this fun? Isn't this fun? It's called parenting. Oh, God, there's a hot Democrat running. Oh, God. All that's going to be required for her to get conservative votes is being hot. My God. If there's legitimately a hot Democrat running and she's actually hot and not just whatever Justin thinks is hot on any given day, then conservatives are so fucked. They're so fucked. I live in New Hampshire. It doesn't bother me. You know. Look how many people are saying I like the. Look at this. Look at this. And this is a guy, this is one of Matt Walsh's fans because God, country, family. And he's got Matt Walsh's movie in his icon. Here's what he says about the idea of conservatives banning people from watching R-rated movies in their own house. I like this idea. We could use a term like parental controls so that even R-rated movies that you find on satellite could be banned. And you can leave it up to the parents to decide, like parents' choice. I just hope some parents don't subject their children to R ratings. Please tell me about how conservatives aren't authoritarians. Please tell me about how conservatives are so different than the woke left. Please tell me how they're different than leftists. They're not. They're not. They're not. So I'm going to make it my mission for the next couple of years that it is now my number one priority to do everything within my power. And who knows how much power that might be. That might be a little bit of power. That might be a lot of power. I don't really even know myself. But I will do every single thing that I can within my power to make fucking sure that there is a libertarian spoiler in 2024. And what I'm going to focus most on is making sure that politically homeless people and walkaway Democrats, people who never became conservatives and plugged their nose to vote for Republicans, I'm going to make sure as many of those people as possible understand that conservatives are exactly the same as woke leftists and that they do not deserve your vote. They do not. They do not in any way. And that it is not more ideal for a Republican to win than a Democrat because they are the same. They are the same. That's what I'm going to be working on. And, here's the thing that the conservatives are going to say, because I know because they've been saying it in my comments all day. They're going to say, well, Carlin, I hate to burst your bubble, but libertarians are not going to win in 2024. They don't have to. They don't have to, conservatives, because here's the thing. You guys have squandered already a metric ton of new voters into your fucking tribe in 2020. You have already pissed off a lot of those people who came to vote for you for the first time in 2020. So you're not going to have that vote anymore. And on top of that, you are acting like woke leftists. So why do you think that anyone who left the Democratic Party in 2020 or before that are ever going to vote for you? You are the same. You are no different. You tell people that, like, conservatives tell libertarians all the time, they're like, you understand that conservatives are not libertarians, right? Okay, so then why should we vote for you? Conservatives piss people off that they could win the votes of, like, all the time. They don't want our votes. They actually don't want our fucking votes. Did someone say I was a lesbian or something in the chat? Sorry, guys, not a lesbian. I know that everyone wants me to be. Oh, no, Tulsi. Okay, Tulsi. Yeah, Tulsi has lesbian vibe too. She definitely does. But she's definitely married to a guy. I have thousands of these to do. If I block less than 1,000 conservatives today, I'm going to be really disappointed in myself. All right. If anyone has any questions that they would like to ask about anything, really doesn't have to be about why conservatives suck and why no one should vote for them ever again, let me know. AD, I'm the hot chick in the chat. Well, congratulations, AD. Congratulations. I would really like someone to send me definitive conservative block list on Twitter just so I can do it all in one fell swoop. I'm already here, Justin. I'm in the hotel. I am here. Not coming up till Friday, dude. No, I'm not planning on watching the hearing tomorrow because I'm at PorkFest. I mean, maybe I'll try to do it later. I'm actually really pleased that the streaming is working because, again, I'm doing this on my phone because the internet here sucks real bad. So I'm actually pretty happy that that the streaming is working. Sam says conservatives tried to block libertarians in New York. Of course they did. Of course they did. Conservatives don't want real choice. Come on. Troy says, so as a libertarian, how do you address the energy crisis? Nuclear, baby. Nuclear, nuclear, nuclear. Double down on nuclear. Do I stand for Ukraine? Well, my husband's Ukrainian and my brother-in-law is literally fighting on the front lines of the war. So, yeah, I'm on Ukraine's side on this one. And any conservatives who don't like that want to be like, Zelensky is a shill and oh my God. Yeah, fuck you. My family is actually involved in this. Yep. Justin makes a great point. Conservatives nuked the ballot access bill in New Hampshire because they're afraid of us. They want our votes? No, shan't. No. And until more people realize that both sides are the same, like, there's not going to be any progress. Literally, guys, I'm sorry. Like, the only way through what is going on in our country is libertarian. I'm sorry. It's the only thing that actually matters. And now the Libertarian Party, for the first time in a very long time, is actually kind of functional again, has functional leadership that is not woke. So, that's the only option that really, like, people who are actually thinking about this would consider. I'm sorry, like, conservatives are not going to fix this problem. Conservatives refuse to leave their fucking house wearing a red hat. Do you think they're going to be the fixers of all the country's problems that they just let fester for decades and decades and decades, having done nothing about? This stream brought to you by the good people at Bosco Chocolate Syrup. I don't know what that is, AD. I don't know if you're just making that up and it's a clever joke. I don't know what that is. God. Matthew says, libertarianism leads to anarchy, leads to tribalism. Is that possible? No, I don't think so, because within the Libertarian Party, there are lots of different belief systems, and libertarians generally believe that you can live whatever way you want to as long as you don't force that on anyone else. As long as you don't, force people to do anything or, like, steal their stuff or harm them. Like, libertarians don't really care how you live, man. We already do. It instills good morals. You should try it. Oh my God. The other thing conservatives do is they say to me, you don't have children. Shut up. I'm like, okay, I've actually done more to fight back against what's going on in the schools than most conservatives have. I've done more to fight back in the schools than most conservatives have. And the conservatives are the first ones to say, shut your mouth, you childless hag. We don't want your help anyway. All right, well, you don't have to have it. You don't have to have my vote either. You don't have to have my vote either. And conservatives, by the way, think that they're not engaging in cancel culture when they do this shit. They will argue like, we're not this is fucking literally what conservatives will say. They will say, This isn't cancellation. This is just holding you accountable for things that you say. Do you know who else says that exact line? Woke leftists. No. Libertarian Party is under completely new management. It's being led by the Mises Caucus. It is completely not woke. Gary Johnson will never be the presidential candidate again. Bill Weld will never be the vice presidential candidate again. That will not happen. Hey, Scott, bye. It's like people in the chat. Here's what conservatives are doing right now. Conservatives are testing their boundaries like children. They're like, how much can I insult Carlin before she blocks me? How much can I insult her before she blocks me? Not that much. Not that much, because I don't care about keeping you around. Definitely not a parent. It's called parenting. God, these guys are fucking morons. Justin says, conservatives have undone all the goodwill Trump did to build the MAGA's tent. Now they wonder why we don't support them anymore. They told us not to. That's exactly right. Conservatives told me repeatedly, Carlin, GTFO the party. We don't want you here. We're not libertarians. Fuck off. We don't need your votes anyway. Okay. Guess what's going to happen when you tell people you don't want their votes? They're not going to vote for you anymore. They're not going to support you. And if you piss them off enough, they're going to make it their mission to rally every person against you. Now, I actually do identify more with the libertarians than I ever did with the Republicans. That is absolutely the truth. But I have to admit that it is just a it is just a personally satisfying thing to me that if the libertarians are successful, that means the Republicans will lose, because that is where they're going to pull most of their votes from. Cindy says, I've always been a Republican. How do you convince me to become a libertarian? Cindy, what are the issues you care about? Let me know, and you don't have to super chat this in. I'll pay attention to the chat. What are the issues that you care about the most? Yep, the two-party duopoly needs to go. Nothing changes until the two-party duopoly goes. Do you have a separate internet? No. It is much easier to interact in a libertarian society than it is to interact in a conservative society. I'll tell you that right now. Libertarians know how to exist around each other without forcing each other to do anything. Now, they might bicker and they might infight, and God knows they do. But libertarian infighting is more like a family bickering, to be honest. There are some jackasses, of course, but it's much different than this conservative bullshit. Significantly different. Gun rights. Okay. Libertarians want you to be able to own not only whatever gun you want, Cindy, but whatever weapon you want. We have constitutional carry in New Hampshire for both like open carry and concealed carry. So I don't even need to get a permit. So that is, and like libertarians in theory want you to be able to own like, you know, a tank or like a submarine or things like that too. Things that conservatives wouldn't even want you to own. They want you to be able to have access to whatever you effing want. Lower prices and everything, libertarians are going to create a robust free market that will inherently lower the prices of everything. It's also, by the way, going to increase pay beyond what conservatives or freaking Democrats would ever do. So in a libertarian society, you're not only going to pay less for things, you're also going to make more money. And you're also not going to pay any taxes either, because libertarians believe that taxation is theft. So you will not, like in an ideal libertarian society, you ain't paying taxes. Justin, please feel free to add any points. Justin also points out that libertarians are very into printing guns. I'm going to see so many beautiful printed guns at PorcFest. They're going to be all colorful. People are going to wear them around. Yeah, so they're like 3D printed submachine guns for everyone. See, and this is another stupid conservative. So you're standing with socialists? No. No, it's like you don't watch me at all because you don't. Because you don't. I have had it. I'm sure it's clear that I've had it at this point. I've been ranting for an hour and a half. I'm gonna go till about 1 a.m. I think. And then I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm gonna do some tarot cards, get some sleep. So if anyone has questions or things they would like me to answer, now might be the time. Maybe I'll do another stream tomorrow where I block more conservatives. How do libertarians propose to fund the government? Well, people could voluntarily fund the government. They could voluntarily pay taxes, or the government could raise money. The government could sell ads on, the size of cars or school buses or things like that. The government can raise money. Government doesn't have a right to our money. I was going to watch that the other night and I just didn't get around to it. I am absolutely convinced that conservatives are going to try to ban fucking R-rated movies in private houses. I'm absolutely convinced of it after today. Because again, why would they be so angry about it? Why would this be? Why on earth? If conservatives were so passionate about what's going on in the schools, then why on earth would this be the thing that pisses them off? This wasn't even a controversial tweet of mine. I have tweeted way worse things, significantly worse things. And this is the one they go for. Why? Because it hit too close to home. That's why. You mean parenting? Oh, this is the most attention I've ever had on a tweet. No, honey. No. The most attention I ever had on a tweet was the Coke Be Less White tweet that got 28 million views. And then the Daily Wire stole my journalism and didn't give me credit for it, like they've done several times. Did you guys know the Daily Wire has stolen my journalism on at least 4 different fucking occasions without giving me credit? My fucking journalism. And normally I really don't care because the point is to get the story out and I care that the story is being covered. But since Matt fucking Walsh decided to retweet an account stalking me that has literally doxed my house and put my family in danger, I think it's worth noting that the Daily Wire has stolen my journalism without giving me credit on at least 4 fucking occasions. You could have looked at that account and known what it was doing. I don't give a fuck if Matt Walsh knew it was stalking me or not. He should have been more fucking responsible. He should have been more fucking responsible. Of course he wasn't. Because he is a fucking ridiculous person. But he's a conservative hero because conservatives pick the worst possible influencers in the world, because the only criteria to be a conservative blue check influencer is you say every single thing that conservatives want to hear, whether you agree with it or whether you don't. That is the only thing you need to do to be a conservative influencer. Do you think in 2020 that I didn't know that I could have grifted off of Trump is great, Trump is wonderful, oh my God, isn't Trump the best? Do you think I had no idea that I could have done that in 2020 and had made a metric fuck ton of money? And by the way, if I had done that and then I had lost weight and grown my hair out and dyed it blonde, holy shit, I'd probably be a commentator on Fox News right now. If I had just kept my opinions to myself and dress like they wanted me to dress and say the things they want me to say, whether I agree with them or not, I would have probably been on a Fox News commentary role right now. Luckily, I am not a grifter and a shill, unlike Matt Walsh. I do not steal other people's work, unlike Matt Walsh. And I don't retweet leftist troll stalker accounts who dox people, unlike Matt fucking Walsh. I shill for conservatives in 2020 doing rallies where I kept my opinions to myself because I was trying to get Democrats to walk away from the party. Because I truly thought that Republicans were better, at least if they had this big tent idea. And then I found out, when it was too late, that they are no different than woke leftists, and it is one of the biggest regrets of my life that I did it. One of the biggest regrets of my life. But Matt Walsh knows what he's doing. They all know what they're doing. Guys, all the conservative influencers who do this shit know exactly and precisely what they're doing. They know exactly and precisely what they're supposed to say. They know exactly and precisely what they're not supposed to say. And they don't deviate from the script. They give their conservative audience what they want, which is their talking points regurgitated to them over and over and over and over. This is why when you're seeing these tweets all look the same. They all look the same. Because what they're doing is parroting the talking points their influencers are giving them, because that's all they know how to do. Dragonwater said, do you think the country would be any better place if Trump had gotten reelected in 2020? Well, the inflation that we're experiencing right now is Trump inflation. So let's just wrap our heads around this for a minute. The inflation that we're experiencing right now is not Biden inflation, it's Trump inflation. So we would still be experiencing the inflation that we're experiencing right now, regardless of if Trump got elected or not. Do I think we'd be in a better position to handle it? Probably. I think Trump would be Trump would, let's be honest. Trump, for all his faults, would at least be lucid. Trump, for all his faults, would at least be in charge. But, sorry, but this is what conservatives asked for when they ignored every warning about election fraud that frankly came from Trump. It is Trump inflation. The inflation that we're experiencing right now, Alex, is not a result of Biden. It came from the stimulus before Biden was in office. So it is Trump inflation. Well, I sound like I'm slamming Democrats. That's because Democrats and Republicans are the same. They are no different. They're the same. They are exactly. So if it sounds like I'm slamming Democrats, it's because Republicans are like Democrats, exactly like Democrats, act no differently than Democrats. The inflation we have right now is largely due to Trump. That's true. For people who don't want to hear this, the inflation we have right now is because of Trump. Sorry. We're going to get a whole other round of inflation next year because of the shit Biden pulled. But Trump did shut the country down. Trump went along with all of it. Trump never should have gone along with any of it. He went along with all of it. So Trump gets the credit. Trump was president. He gets the credit, man. Listen, that's part of the burden of leadership. That is the burden of leadership. Well, I'm making some good progress on blocking conservatives on Twitter. I feel like I blocked several hundred. I don't know. Oh, God, my back is fucking killing me. I'm an old lady. My back is killing me. No, it's because I'm hunched over because I just don't have... There's not even a desk in this hotel room. But there is a lot of beer. There is a lot of beer. Do you guys want to see some of the beers that I got for PorkFest before I wrap up the stream for tonight, just for fun? If you don't want to, that's okay. But I can show you some of the booze that I got if you want to see what's on deck for PorkFest. Oh, that's it? Oh, holy shit. Okay, that's all for right now. Oh, man. Yes, I've got at least 150. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Is Victor with me? No, he's coming up on Thursday. Victor has to drink. All right. Not his has to drink. No, Victor. I was thinking beer and work at the same time. Victor has to work. All right. Before we wrap up, I can show you guys around. Hang on. Stop share. I can show you guys around my lovely motel room. It's fancy. I have a whole pile of beer over here. And I'm going to fashion a table out of some boxes of seltzer. Because I do have, listen, man, you can't just drink hard beer all day. You gotta break things up. And so I bought a whole bunch of like White Claw, like hard seltzer. That is not worth showing to anyone, but it at the moment can fashion a table. All right, so here's some of the beers that are on deck for PorkFest. I don't know if you guys are interested in this, but it's my stream. I'll do whatever the fuck I want. This is Southern Tier Coconut Truffle, and this is an Imperial Milk Stout. So this is 10%. It's a little can, but it's a lot of alcohol. And Southern Tier is one of my favorite breweries. They brew these really really fucking creamy, high alcohol content beers. Their best beer is Pumpkin, which comes out in, it's a fall beer. It's pumpkin beer, obviously. They do lots of different varieties of pumpkin. Oh, good, Justin. I can turn my room into a fridge. Yeah, Roger's hotel rooms are not motel rooms, but this is really good. This is a really good beer. The other one I have, and I love coconut stouts. Coconut stouts are some of my favorite. I also have this one, which is Death by Coconut, which I got this 4-pack. I went to a very specific beer store to collect this 4-pack of beer like a couple weeks ago. And I had one, and then I went to sleep, and Victor drank the rest of my fucking beer. I was like, God damn it, Victor. Don't drink my Death by Coconut beer. Because Victor usually drinks Blue Moon, but he apparently ran out of Blue Moon, and then after I went to sleep, he drank all my beer. But that's Death by Coconut. Victor isn't here to drink it. The other one I have is, I've never had this, but I had to try it because it's a Left Hand Nitro Key Lime Pie beer. Left Hand is usually pretty good. They do some stouts that I really like. And so this is a sour ale with lactose, lime, vanilla, and cinnamon. And it's 7.3%, so it's a little bit beefy. Your average beer is going to be about like 4 to 5%. So it's a little bit more beefy than that. And I love key lime pie. I love key lime pie. It's so good. I haven't had it in like forever, but it's so, so good. So I really hope it translated to beer. but we're gonna find out. And then I got a whole bunch of like singles. So I've got this one, which is a red velvet cake pastry stout. And I actually had this one for the first time a couple weeks ago. I think it was like for a Sassy Saturday stream with Alex. I actually didn't drink it on the stream, but I drank it later. This is so fucking good. It is so creamy, and it does taste like dessert. And so I got a couple of those. That's a 10%er. I also got, this is a whoopie pie stout. Whoop, there it is. Also a 10%er. This is pretty good as well. If you guys have never had really good craft beer, I definitely recommend that you find a craft beer store near you and check it out. If you think you don't like beer, you probably just haven't found the beer you like yet. See, the thing is like, okay, so last year at PorkFest, like the Libertarians have a lot of beer in there. Like I'm going to be mostly in the Mises Caucus tent, and last year they had like a whole metric F ton of beer, but most of it was IPAs. I don't like IPAs. No shade on people who do. I just don't. And so I had to bring up every single non-IPA beer I could find. This is one called PBU Who, and this is a peanut butter milk stout, and it is a combination of Yoo-hoo and peanut butter. So that's not too bad. And then let's see. This is, I got a couple different versions of this. Okay, we'll do this one first. This is a peanut butter whoopie pie beer. And then I also have a peanut butter and jelly pie beer. And I've never had the peanut butter jelly one, so we'll see how that goes. And then there's a Rogue double chocolate stout. Normally, I don't really like Rogue, if I'm honest about it. I always find their beers to sound like a better idea than they actually end up being. But we're gonna give it a try. Why not? Why not? And then let's see. I've got some fruity beers. This is called Tropical Jam from Foundation Brewery. And I got some fruity beers mostly because I was like, there's like a lot of heavy beers, like a lot of big beer and stouts. And I want to have something fruity to break it up. I've got this Black Shore sour ale, and this is with gooseberry and paprika. But I probably just bought it because I like the look of the can. So there's that. Then I like beer made with honey. So this is a honeybee blonde ale. I've never had it before, but the can is so pretty. So we're going to try that out. Sam Adams used to do, what was it called? I think it was like Honey Queen or something like that. It was a honey beer. It had a bee on the bottle a couple years ago. That was a really good beer. This is a blueberry sandy. So that'll be more light and like crisp and fruity. I also got a whole case of Wachusett Blueberry Ale, which is like a blueberry lager, which I've always really liked. It's one of my favorite blueberry beers. And then the last 4-pack I have, and 2 of them are the same. This is another Norm chocolate coconut stout. And then I've got this one, Cacao. Boom. So that's going to be a milk chocolate stout. And then the last one is a cinnamon toast beer. And this is an imperial stout brewed with Vietnamese cinnamon and vanilla extract. And so there's a craft beer tasting in which the price of admission is you have to bring at least 6 different craft beers for everyone to try. So that's part of why I got so many of these singles. Because I need my admittance to my craft beer tasting, obviously. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's 1 a.m. Thank you for listening to me rant. That felt really good to get it out of my system. I have no regrets. Conservatives can go fuck themselves. I'm exactly where I should be, which is the Libertarian Party. I fit in best here. It aligns most closely with my views. And it's not woke anymore. So hopefully we can make some progress, get a really great presidential candidate, and spoil the shit out of what the Republicans think are going to happen in 2024. I will be thrilled beyond measure when this happens. I cannot wait. They don't see it coming, and that's what's going to make victory all the more sweet. All right, guys, I'm headed to bed. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon.